Recording in progress.
Got it. All right, folks, we're gonna just give two minutes to allow latecomers to join. Welcome, Kenneth. Welcome, Boniface. Welcome, Eddie. Nina, we must still having a problem.
Yeah, she's joining in a few.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Welcome, Angela. All right, so we can get started. And as this is a chat session, not a presentation, people will join and find us where we are. And hi, everybody. My name is Eunice Nyandat. I'm the founder, CEO of My Biz Marketer, marketing agency for startups and SMEs. And with me is Teri Wander, who works with both My Biz Marketer and Ardy Marketing, but is the founder of Decima. And I'll let him introduce himself. Rima will be joining us shortly. She's having some technical difficulties. This is a chat session. We just hang out. We're going to talk about web development, what it takes, everything from costs, design, technologies, what one should have, what challenges people are experiencing. Ask Teri and myself and Rima any questions you have with your tech development. And if you're a web designer, if it's a career question, go ahead, ask those. If you're a marketer and you're looking to develop a website for your company, we're welcoming those questions. If you're a business owner or a startup and you're jumping into that, we welcome any questions you have and what stacks to use and all that good stuff. So Teri, if you could go ahead and mute yourself and do your spiel and introduce yourself to the folks on here.
Okay, thank you so much, Eunice, for that lovely salvo into this presentation. First of all, can everyone hear me okay? Am I audible enough?
Yep.
Okay. Thanks again, Eunice. Hi, my name is Teri Wander, and as Eunice mentioned, I work with Ardy Marketing and my Biz Marketer on a solutions architect capacity. What a solution architect does is they advise companies and startups on the best ways to utilize technology to grow their business. So oftentimes people are looking to scale their business or maybe to go into a different vertical or a new venture. And that's what a solutions architect does. So think of a solutions architect a lot like a building architect. So you come and tell them you want a house with 3 bedrooms or 5 bedrooms, a swimming pool, etc. So the solutions architect job is to design your house, so to speak, in a way that will be most efficient use of things like resources, how to best utilize the content you have, how to best utilize the capacity of the people who are in your organization, maybe help train them to manage and maintain that aspect of it. Yeah, so during this session, I'm going to be answering any questions you may have regarding technology in general, of course, with the focus on web development, but you can ask technology in general, as long as it touches on the web aspect. And we'll try our best to answer your questions to your satisfaction. And then maybe we can see how I'm primarily from, can help you along this journey in leveraging technology to grow your business. Thank you, Eunice. Well, back to you. You're muted, Eunice. Sorry.
Thank you, Teri. Thanks, Teri. I see Rima's joined us. Rima, if you can unmute yourself and introduce yourself. Sorry about your technical difficulties.
Yeah, thank you so much, Eunice. And yeah, it's just, all right. I'm here now, finally. Thank you, guys. I'm super excited for this Q&A today from the webinar that we had last session about getting to know about web development, what to do about it. So my name is Rima. I am the founder and CEO of Ardy Marketing. I'm super excited to host this with my biz marketer and of course Teri, who's part of our team anyway. We've just given him a different title for today. But yes, and welcome everybody. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, so let's jump into it, right? I see Kenneth in here. I see Boniface. I see Eddie. I think we have Angela. Does anybody have a burning question? You can unmute yourself and turn on your camera if you'd like, ask a question, or you can even type it in chat if you're feeling shy and ask your burning question. But while you're doing that, I'll ask Teri, what is the most popular stack for technology to use on web development? What are people using? to build their websites right now? What's the most popular platform? Well, you guys get ready with your questions.
Okay, thank you for that, Eunice. So right now, simplicity is best. So the most popular platform by far, 40% or more, is WordPress. WordPress is used by Ardy Marketing and MyBiz Marketer, who are, you can compare them to like really young in the industry, 10 years or so, to the giants like Microsoft, who've been there for 30, 40 years. Of its simplicity and its ease of maintenance, especially regarding things like customer outreach, content management, its support for Google search index optimization. It's often a lot easier to work with, and then anyone you bring on board to your company is most likely familiar with WordPress if they're coming in either as a web professional or as a content marketing professional or a digital marketing professional. Now, that's not to say that it's the only popular one. Depending on where you are, there are certain other companies that may have shown up. I'm going to just share my screen a bit so that you're able to see examples of those. So let me know if it's visible to everyone.
Yes, it is. You can see that.
Yes, so I'm going to just arrange them here in order of how it works based on where it is that someone lives. So we have WordPress, which is number one. It comes from WordPress.com, which is a commercial one, or WordPress.org, which is the free one. A lot of people use the WordPress.org, which is free. You download WordPress, you put it on your own domain, and you configure your website on your own. If you have the knowledge or the time, that option goes for you. If you don't have that, you can go to WordPress.com and they do it all for you. So you pay a monthly fee, same way you'd pay for Netflix every month, and then they will do all that work for you. As you can see here, it starts at about $4, which is about 450 shillings per month. It will give you a free domain, a website, and all that stuff, all the good things that you want. And then as you grow, you're able to either move across the plans or you move out of it entirely and host your own website. The second most popular is Squarespace. This is very popular in the Western world, US, Europe, Australia, which is the same concept. You go there and you pick a template, you drag and drop design it the way you want it to look like. Think of it as arranging icons on your phone, where you want the WhatsApp icon to be, what kind of wallpaper you want. You drag and drop, and then when you're finished, you click launch and your website goes live. You also pay a monthly fee or annually, similar to the way you'd pay Netflix. Then there is Wix. All of them are the same thing. Each of them uses a different builder. It's just a matter of how they present it and what company they're using. So these ones also allow the same thing, are also very popular in the Western world. We have now Webflow. Webflow is a bit more involving. You do require some understanding of how graphics work and just general layout. It's still drag and drop, but this one is used primarily by people who have a bit of experience in creating websites. So if you have Webflow, you can create kind of like a reseller account. So if, let's say, Rima, Ardy Marketing, would open a Webflow account, and then in it, they can manage different websites. So they can manage a website for, let me see, who's available on chat. I just mentioned a few names. So like Miss Angela Wanja, for example, wants a website. So they'd come to Ardy Marketing and they'd say, this is how I want it to look like. Ardy would evaluate the best technology based on her needs. And if they were to pick Webflow, for example, they can open an account in Webflow and manage that whole process. So it allows you to nest websites the same way you would have if you had an apartment or shared office space, for example. It does require a lot more management, and it's recommended if you have at least 1 year's experience with like playing around with web technologies and web development. Then we have ConvertKit. This one is primarily for marketing and conversion. So this gives you a landing page And it allows you to, if you're selling something, for example, if you have a book or a course or something, or a newsletter you want people to sign up, this is the way to go. It's very simple, very fast. I think in about an hour or an hour and a half, you can have the website that you want, and it just helps you communicate very easily with other people. If you're shopping, Shopify is one big example in the US, but in Kenya, we prefer to use WooCommerce, which is also dependent on whether you have WordPress or not. So that's kind of like what is available out there. There is no best, it depends on what your needs are. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, guys, this is about you. So let's hear your questions. If you're developing a site, or you're a web developer, or you're a startup, or you're in business and you want to build a site, what questions do you have? This is about you. Let's hear your questions. Let's see if we have any questions in chat here.
No questions so far. I can't
Okay.
see that, but you can raise your hand, you can unmute yourself, please feel free to just ask your questions. Teri, I think to add on to the questions that, what you've talked about right now, and it's great that you've talked about all the different ones, because then you can make a difference and choice between, am I okay paying monthly fee, like as a rental, or do you want me to pay like a full amount, once in a year, or just once off, and then just keep maintaining it, right? That's the reasons why I think like WordPress website is a bit more common sort of choice for clients to go for, even if it's not something that I'm paying monthly on month, that if once I don't make a payment, like for example for Wix, then it just goes down, right? So maybe give us a couple of advantages of that sort.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. To the platform you choose really depends on one of two things: your availability to be able to maintain the website and how much you want to spend. So it's more of a sliding scale. The more time you have, you can spend a lot less because you'll be able to do a lot of the work yourselves. But if you don't have time, but you're willing to spend a bit of money on it, then you should go for the option that requires the least amount of time. So as you're looking for here, for example, if you can see the screen, we have the personal, premium, business, and e-commerce version. This is just a WordPress example. So you can start with the personal one, create your website, and then as you grow, you can move across the aisle depending on what your needs are, if your business is generating money. However, there is an option to do the alternative, which is where you'd go to someone like maybe Kenya Web Experts are a good example, not necessarily to host, just to demonstrate how the entire industry works. So someone like them would give you a package, so to speak. So you would buy a domain from them. You'd be able to have zoomed in so you guys can see clearly. You're able to buy a domain from them. There are different prices for each of those. And then they do have web hosting packages. Similar thing to WordPress. The difference with this is you pay a one-off fee every year. Like it's an annual fee. So like here, you'd come here and you'd say for 2,100 shillings every year, this is exclusive of tax, you would be able to get, this is everything that you get for it. So if you're starting out, you might find such a package would be very simple if all you want is like a one-page website. What this helps you with is you pay one fee and then you have everything you need, all your emails, you have a website. You don't have to worry about a month over month if cost is an issue for you. However, there is a trade-off. Depending on the fee here, this is where you should pay the most attention to. The less you pay is the less you get, no matter how big the numbers look here. Because this looks very big, 70 GB. 70 GB is more space than most of you have on your phones, and a lot of you are probably never filled your phone. 70 GB can take some people up to 5 years to fill with emails and a website alone. But the place where they catch you is here. when in terms of the memory. The memory is the amount of RAM that is available on the site. It's
Right.
how visually appealing your website can look. So the lower this number is, the less appealing your website will look, because if you try put some nice images or some flashy graphics or transitions, you find that your website crashes. It's always unavailable, because this is where they catch you. And as you can see here, for gold, even when you get to 14,000, you are still getting the 500 MB. So you might be paying a lot more, but then the specifics of what you're paying is where they end up catching you. So when you're looking for, and this is where the other different platforms, this is why they succeed. So when they give you this, the things to look out for is especially that. Don't look out for things like unlimited storage or things like that, because you are never going to finish. You are never going to build a website that is so big that is going to take up all of this 30 GB. The biggest I've built, I think it's 2 GB. And that's because they wanted all their images and all their videos hosted on their own website. Most websites are 100 MB, 500 MB or so, if you end up removing all those other images. So those are the things to look out for. If you can afford to pay a one-off fee, because here, for example, is 14,100. This comes to about 1,000 a month. So at 1,000 a month, you would be somewhere like here. You are better off going for this one at 1,000 a month than you are going for this one, simply because of what the RAM that they give you. A global provider is always better than going for your local hosting company.
And Teri, the options of the global provider versus local companies are even more, because local providers support sometimes let you down, right?
Yes. So the support for local providers, a lot of them are only available to between 8 to 5.
8 to 5, right?
Yeah, 8 to 5. Well, if some go a lot, it's 8 to 8. So rarely do they have 24/7 support. Just because of how the nature of how we are set up here. They don't imagine there's anyone trying to look at your website in the middle of the night. But a global provider has to serve people across all time zones. So they do have better support, and it's more responsive. And their support is inclusive of the same fee. So you find where you're being told, like here for Kenya Web Experts, their gold plan that is 14,100. You would come here, that's per month. For an equivalent one of that would be this one, like maybe this 25. Yeah, about this one. You would find at WordPress, you would get access to support, real-time support. You see live chat support, it's even here. So you have live chat support, so it's real-time support. You have unlimited email. They let you collect payments, the best-in-class hosting. WordPress build the most popular hosting platform in the world. So there's no better place than to if you're building a WordPress website, than to go to WordPress directly. And then in Kenya, it also depends. You may want to avoid the politics of the country, because if you're creating a controversial website, like a political website, and you're really against a certain either party or individual, they might get upset and maybe call in a favor to their friend who owns a certain company who's hosting you, and you suddenly have downtime. Or they say that your website is creating propaganda and we don't want it, so they have it pulled down. Globally, such things are not allowed. It's a lot of effort. You cannot simply just request a website to be taken down without going through proper procedure. It's a lot harder to have your site taken down if it's hosted by a global provider than it is if it was just a local company.
And I raised that because once we had a client get a virus on their website, and local company was unable to support us. And then when they were able to, the charge was 60,000 shillings to get the virus taken out. A local company was totally unable to support us. So really, when you look at it, with the international company, the support is already included in the price we paid for the hosting. the local company, it's an additional cost to get that virus removed. And the virus is in their servers. It's not in our content. It's in their servers. So we shouldn't incur that additional cost of support, right?
No, you should not incur. And when you talk about protection, I see a question here from Sakwa Combo. I hope I pronounced your name well. Hi, what are the ways one can protect a website? Protecting a website is two parts, as Ms. Eunice says. Part one is the server side. It's choosing a provider who already has protection measures in place, who is going to proactively make sure that the content being put on your website is up to par, it's safe, and it's secure. The second part is yourself. It is, you can secure your website in such a way that it's only accessible from one computer, like the login. If you're going to update content, like you see how you log in on Facebook? When you log in on Facebook, sometimes it sends your code to your phone to make sure that it's correct, that it's really you who's accessing. So the same thing can be done for a website. You can create those protections such that only you are allowed to log in from your phone. You can even say that the only time someone can upload new content on your website is between a certain time, like 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Beyond that, it will not let you log in. You can insist that people log in from a specific computer, that they log in from a specific either device or a specific email address. You can create all those protections. There is really no limit to what you're using. It would come down to what is your website about. So when you find out, are you in the medical industry, transport, are you in user content, are you in legal? Each domain, each different industry has its own protection requirements. So once you figure out where you are, then it's very easy to figure out how to protect the website. Does the choice of domain matter in SEO and SEM? They say not really, but then Google doesn't explain. It doesn't offer a complete guide about how they do their SEO, because some people, as soon as you tell them how to do something, it's like a Mwakenya. They'll just rush there and do exactly what you have said they do. So if they say that your site should have 5 pages, people will just build 5-page websites that don't offer any value. So Google keeps shifting these things. Of course, if you go with a .com domain, that is preferable. You can avoid things in your domain like limited or Inc. or whatever, like those kinds of terms. Pick a nice short domain name between 6 and 13 characters long. So you would have something like, who asked that question is Sakwa. So it can be sakwacombo.com. That's a bit long. So you can call it like sakwak.com or sakwakenya, something, find something very catchy, something if you keep repeating over and over, it's something, it has stickiness. It's someone, you can easily pronounce it. So once you get that domain, the SEO and SEM is really a matter of how proactive you are. Choose the right keywords, be proactive. Think of it like a nice lawn. If you have grass in front of your house, the more you water it, the more you mow it, the more you keep checking and doing things, the better it will look. So for SEO and that, it's more of maintenance than any one specific thing, whether it's a domain or whether it's using a certain provider or whether it's what pictures or videos you have. There's another question.
SEO is much deeper than that.
Yes, SEO is a lot deeper than that. Yeah. And
the keywords do need to be used in ways in your website in the right way. So domain name may help, but like the back end parts of it, like the meta tags and the titles and things also really do matter when it comes to SEO.
Yes, SEO is a separate conversation. It's like building a website is like building an apartment, and then SEO is how well you maintain that apartment, how well you make sure the painting is there, the doors are locking, the instant shower works, it has good Wi-Fi. So it's a bit of that, and you have to be very particular with your SEO because it matters. Each industry has its own specific keywords that are used, so there's a lot of research that goes in. So if you're selling food, for example, or if you're selling clothes, the first thing you do is look at Google Keyword Planner. So for keyword search, What are people looking at when it comes to SEO? What are they searching for when it comes to clothes? And then you find a way to incorporate those naturally within your website. So those keywords like Mtumba Kenya or what, things like that, your site will have welcome to sakwacombo.com, the #1 site for Mtumba clothes and things like that. So you naturally incorporate it into the content and it will work. There's a question here. If you're a startup, would you recommend a website built from scratch, one from WordPress or Wix? If you are starting out, the simpler, the better. Whatever gets you up and running as fast as possible is the best. The two fastest are is actually Wix and then WordPress, because for Wix it's a few images and content and you're out there. The importance of starting quickly is you don't really know what your customers want. Unless you have a very clear idea of who you're serving, what their needs are, it's much easier to get a pre-built website or a website company that allows you to drag and drop and place elements. Then you put something like Google Analytics, where you're able to see after 3 months, where do my visitors come from? Is it mobile phone? Is it desktop, tablet? Are they on Wi-Fi? Are they using bundles, cellular data? What time do they browse? What do they click? Do they like images or words? Then with that information, you're able to now sit down and say, this is the kind of website we can build to serve our customers. If you start from day one with something that is too custom built, it may not have been tested in the market and you may end up wasting your money. So quite often, especially if you're by yourself, it's much easier to go for one of those, these companies that do what is called managed hosting. So whether you go with WordPress or Squarespace or Wix, they all do managed hosting. What it means, you pay a monthly fee, they take care of everything else. Then once you're more confident and you're more aware about what your customers need, you can now transition to a maintained website. I seem to have lost the chat window.
Let me just tell you what's there actually. The next question, which kind of falls directly into what Moray asked as well, is what basic skills on web development should a marketer have? Love the question, Angela. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that, Angela. So in web development, a marketer should understand the various elements of a website. And by elements, I mean you should understand the technologies, like we've said. You should be familiar with what is WordPress, what is Squarespace, what is Wix, like how are they built? You should know how each of them is different, because it's like kind of saying, if you're a salesperson, if you're selling cars, what kind of understanding of vehicles should you know? You should be able to know that some cars are 4x4, some are diesel, some are hybrid, some are electric. So it's just understanding the kind of technologies that are out there, understanding how they work together. So for example, if someone says they want a blogging website, then you know they can't use something like WooCommerce, because WooCommerce is mainly for e-commerce. It's not for blogging. They're better off with either WordPress or Wix. If someone says they want to put customized payments or they want to accept payments on their site, you know that WordPress is better than Squarespace, because WordPress, you can put in any payment option versus Squarespace that only supports international payment options. And then understanding things like what is elements for SEO, things like link building. What does link building mean? How do you write a link to be readable friendly? You should understand what is responsiveness. Responsiveness means, for example, if I right click here, this is how this website should look like on an iPhone. I don't know if it's still clear. I can try to zoom in a bit. So this is how the website looks like on iPhone, right? And then this is how a website looks like on an iPad, for example. You should understand those underlying technologies. So when you are marketing the platform to someone, or when you're looking at your audience and you realize that they mostly look at your website or your content on whatever device, you're able to go back and tell the design team or the technical team, our audience is mainly on mobile or on here. We need you to have the site more responsive in that avenue. So you don't really need any technical skills per se, because how these platforms have been created, and as time goes, it gets a lot easier. You can sit with YouTube on one tab and WordPress on the other, and in 3 hours you have a website. Even if you knew nothing about creating websites before, there are people who will walk you through every step.
I love that, and it's because of the change of technology that we've had right now, right? That
yes,
simple websites can be done just like the way you're saying, and everything is on YouTube. You can do a tutorial on YouTube and then find out how to do it. The question here would be, do you have the time to sit down and do it? Right?
Absolutely.
Right. You can do it. Of course you can do it. But then is it taking away time that you have precious for, talking to your clients or doing other like your core business or your core work? I think that's really important. You can be saving the money, but then in the long run, you're not saving money because your time is money.
Exactly. We've even gone to the extent of no code application building. So it's drag drop things, so it's you deciding where to spend your time, right? So do I hire an expert or do I do it myself? And how in depth do you want to go, right? If it's a 5-pager, and it's not going to take any time to do it, Rima, then I can probably just sit for the next couple of hours, do the 5-pager. But if it's going to be an in-depth, I want to collect data, I want all these forms, then I probably need an expert to do it for me, right?
Exactly. Somebody who's done it before, someone who understands, how to navigate around, even within WordPress. Like, Teri and I do websites for clients. And, the point in here is like there's certain things that a client wants, and, putting it together or plugging and playing, but understanding the journey of the customer when you're doing the website as well is really important. And that the web designer can understand it a little bit better. Someone who's done it before. And I think one of the things you probably want to ask your web designers is what kind of websites have they done before? Because then you can get an idea, like would they understand like what you'd like or what your customers would like. Remember, it's not about what you would like,
it's what they want.
Yeah, and Teri made it very clear, like you have to understand what your target audience likes. Do they like more images? Do they like more information? And then testing it out. So even if you have your website done, you've got to test it out and see that your target audience actually understands what you've put in there. Or do you need to make changes to that as well?
Yeah. Hey, Rima, Boniface had this question. I use Bitrix 24. My biz marketer had actually attempted to use Bitrix 24 for a CRM. And he also asks, I don't have SSL. Is that a problem? I think not having SSL is going to be a problem. Using Bitrix 24 is not a problem. You should continue using it. But SSL, Teri, is important nowadays, right?
SSL is important because Google will not index your website if you don't have an SSL. Like they'll completely skip over it because they made it mandatory a couple of years back. So having an SSL, and SSLs are free depending on the provider you pick. Global providers give you a free SSL from the get-go. Local providers require a bit more work maybe to get it. It's still free, but it's not as accessible. And SSL is mandatory.
For somebody who doesn't know what SSL is as well.
Okay, SSL stands for, technically stands for secure software. What it really means is it's a way to secure the communication from your website. So for example, if you had a login page, like the way you'd log into Facebook, when you go to log into Facebook or anywhere else, you usually see a padlock here at the top. I don't know if I can zoom in much further, if it will affect. There's a padlock here at the very top of where it says HTTPS. So that padlock is making sure that the connection is secure. What it means is nobody can intercept or listen in to your communication. No one will take your password when you type it into a browser and click submit. It is kind of like having, before SSL, it's like having a transparent pipe. And then if you pass anything, you pass through that pipe. And if it's passing through your neighbor can see that this person is pumping water or is pumping juice or is pumping milk or whatever it is. But with an SSL, it's filled with a glass pipe. It's not a steel pipe. Nobody can see it. It's a lot of effort. By the time you cut through a steel pipe, to peep through and see what someone is pumping, it's too much effort, and not everyone has the skills to do that. So SSL secures your website from people who are trying to eavesdrop. And there are a lot of people trying. There's someone who's always trying to find your password, whether it's for your bank account or for whatever it is. So SSL becomes very mandatory if you're dealing with any customer information. Some websites will not allow you to go live. All these we're looking at here, you can build your website all the way to the end, but if you don't use SSL, they will not allow you to go live because it has been considered a standard, and people do get penalized if they do not have SSL.
That's great insight, actually. So in fact, even if I want to go onto a website and then do some e-commerce or buy something, purchase online, and if I don't see the HTTPS, the S part of it, which is now the SSL, or that padlock that Terry is talking about, then I will not put my details into that website. It could be a wrong website. It could be something that is not trusted. So SSL is super important in that whole thing.
Yes. So if there's no padlock, always run away from that website.
Yeah.
Or if you want to, you can help them by reporting the website, saying that there's something wrong with them. A lot of people do not know when the website is down or when the SSL has expired. So if you can reach out to them, just let them know, hey, there's something wrong with your SSL. Your site says it's insecure. Let me see if we can have an example of a website whose SSL. Yes, here we are. So this is what happens when you go to an insecure website. It tells you your connection isn't private. Attackers might try to steal your information. So this error cert date invalid, it means the SSL has expired. As you can see here, 20th July. So it expired on Tuesday. So you can still go, you can still proceed to the website, but it will tell you it's unsafe. Going there is very unsafe. And then you see what happens when an SSL has expired. Because an SSL is tied to the content, this website is not even loading. Can you see how it looks like? Compare that to this. This is how a website kind of looks. And then this is how it looks when things are broken in the backend. So if you know Kingsway, you can call them and tell them, hey, your SSL is expired or it's broken. Most of them will be very grateful for your help and they'll fix it up real easy. It takes about 5 minutes to fix.
To fix it, yeah.
All right, so we've got some more questions. Maybe we can go into those ones. Victor Wambani was asked, hi, for a company that has different brands that require online presence, is it necessary to have different websites for that, or can be made within one website, for example, an e-commerce, events, directory, etc.? What are the alternatives for this?
Okay. So there are two approaches to this. Technically speaking, they can all be under one website because a website can have two sides. So you can say, for example, facebook.com, or let me use something easier, victorwambani.com/e-commerce for your e-commerce store, or /events for your event store. You can have everything under one space. The challenge with that comes in that what you use for e-commerce and what you use for events, they are similar but slightly different technologies when it comes to managing those two. And the same thing for a directory. A directory is mainly search. It doesn't have a lot of content. Events is also, it has a mix of content and some search. E-commerce is entirely product. So if you were to blend all those in, you would find yourself maintaining, as your site grows, you'll be maintaining 3 different, it's like saying you want to have a bike and like a bike, a pickup, and a bus all at the same time. And you want to use all of them all at once. So you find that it becomes the mechanic who works on a bike knows a few different things from the one who works on a regular car and one who works on a bus or a boat or a lorry or something like that. If you're able to combine all of them, it's fine. The maintenance will be very difficult and the marketing will be even harder, because the strategy to market an e-commerce is not the same as marketing a directory. The keywords are not the same. How content is curated and updated is not the same. So if you have one company like Victor Wambani Group, and you have an event company, an e-commerce company, things like that, it's recommended you open separate websites for all of them and you have them run independently. There is something called multi-site, where you have one account that is managing different websites, but they are all in the back end, it all looks like one account. It's like how you go and like if you were to go somewhere like iHub. iHub has a few floors and there are offices in each floor. There are specific offices in each floor, but all of the one destination is iHub. So Victor Wambani would be the iHub. Then when you go to first floor, it's a completely different business with its own people, overall.
Yeah. So just to add to that, actually, you could have like the group website. So the group website actually says that you've got all these different companies, which is great. But then on the individual section, then you can have like the different brands with a different website. But if you have one brand with different products, that's fine as well. Whether it's a motorbike, car, and a truck, that can be all in one website.
Yes. Another example is how Google works. So there's Google, there's Gmail, there's Google Search, there's Google Cloud. All of them have, okay, I won't open the Gmail here because it's going to show my email, but there's mail.google, cloud.google, drive.google. So you can create one domain. So victorwambani.com. So you say store or market.victorwambani, events.victorwambani, directory or search.victorwambani. That's another alternative. All of them are separate websites, but they are all tied to your primary domain. So you're able to benefit with SEO because people still have to load the victorwambani.com part, no matter where it is they're going.
Great. Victor, have we answered your question or do you have any further questions to that?
I'm trying to load an example for him to have a look at. So one of the MBM is MBM Africa is the parent company for My Biz Marketer, who is hosting one of the verticals in MBM is called SWE Kenya. SWE Kenya is a division under MBM Africa. So here they have their own domain because they are separate and independent. But then they also have a community section. The community section is where people think of it as their own Facebook. But if you come up here, you'll see it's community.swekenya.com. So it's still under the SWE Kenya brand, but now the community space is something completely separate. They even look completely separate from them. However, they are still part of the same company, so to speak. So this is usually a very neat way of doing things because you still manage everything under one domain and then you get to benefit with SEO without really conflicting. So someone who is managing SWE Kenya and someone managing the community, both of them can work independently and do their best work without conflicting with each other. Back to you, Rima.
Sorry, Victor, you can unmute yourself. I know you wanted to say something. Why don't you unmute yourself and say something?
Yes, sure. Hi.
Hi, Victor.
Oh, yes, I'm saying I think the subdomain alternative is better because I think that way I won't have to do double costs for hosting. And at the same time, that idea of every time somebody has to search, at the end of the day, they are still putting in the primary domain name. Yeah. So thanks so much for the answer.
Okay. Remember, the primary domain, the subdomain name does matter depending on where you're hosting. So when you're doing subdomains, I want you to think of it, you can think of it like a warehouse. Like if you were to go and you rent a warehouse, like all that space, you can put in whatever you want, however you want. However, the more you put of one thing, the less space you have to put of another. So if you were to get a package like this one for Kenya Web, for example, that says 30 GB, right? And you have 4 websites. You have the e-commerce, event, and the directory, then your main one. They would all be sharing this 30 GB. So the bigger one website grows, it means that there is less space to put in more and more things, and because they're all sharing the same space. So it's just something to consider if you're going that route. You do manage everything under one roof, but because they're all under one roof, they're sharing the same resources.
Exactly.
Okay, so just to sort of highlight, when we had the last webinar about the web development, we had a special offer that we had said. That special offer still stands until the end of the month. And I would like Penina or Moray to just write the special offer for everybody in here, so that they can just claim it if you'd like us to do your website for you, or help, or you need some help with that, or you just need maybe a 30 minutes a free consultation, asking more more in-depth questions about it. You can always do that. They will put the links in here for that. One of the things I know, Boniface, we answered the questions about the keywords work on how they work on the website. Is there anything else that you would like to add to that, Teri, or Eunice, for that matter?
I think my addition to this is what the overall goal for your website is. It's to communicate to your customers what you do, what your brand does, and also convert your customers to sales, right? It informs your customers of what you have to offer. So you can write or put beautiful images, but if it's not doing its job, then you invested heavily in a beautiful website, but it's not doing its job. Remember what the end goal of your website is, right? So build it with the goal that it is communicating to the customer that you're selling a product or service, and that you are converting. So it has those call to action. You've made sure you've invested in getting the right keywords. You've gotten the right copy. So get those keywords right. You've made sure you've targeted your customers right. So Boniface or Victor, your customers, right? To make sure you're targeting them right. If they are in Kakamega, like Victor is, that website heavily addresses that audience in Kakamega. Or if you're targeting women, or you're targeting teenagers, the language on that website addresses those teenagers. So don't try and address everybody, address that target audience. The keywords are right, it is call to action, the imagery matches the audience you're going after, and then you're converting, and you've got analytics in it so that you're getting the conversions right. You've got your website right. Really important.
Thank you for that, Eunice. I'm just sharing some links as we go. I'll be sharing them onto the chat. Yep. So those who want to have a look at them or save them for later, I may ask the team if they're able to just save some of those links and send them maybe in the post-webinar email.
Yes, and there was a resource they were going to add to that, so they can add those links. Yeah, they could add those links to that resource.
Yes. Boniface was lost. He was on a vehicle. Sorry.
Sorry, Boniface. We'll share the resources, Boniface, so you'll get those.
Yes, and like we said, there are a lot of guides on how some of these things work. Things like SEO work the same, no matter what
Yep.
platform you use, because they're all trying to be compliant with Google. So there is the link I sent. It's a site called WP Beginner. It's one example of a website where someone has put all the tutorials in one place. So you can go there. It's not technical at all. They really explain everything in very plain and direct language. They even have screenshots and guides. They even give you what to type in case you are not familiar with some of those elements. So if you have the time to just go through and understand, this would be a very good resource. I think we had spoken with Angela Wanja, yes, when you said what basic skills on web development should a marketer have, because each vertical is different. So if someone is building on WordPress, the skills you need are a bit different. If someone is building from scratch, they're a bit different. If someone is using one of these managed services, excuse me, the skills are a bit different. The technology is the same, but the specialization of it is what matters. It's like being a doctor. All doctors know how to diagnose basic skills, but you have a throat surgeon, a throat doctor, an optician, you have someone for your back, you have a gyno. So it really depends on where, as a digital marketer, you want to focus. If you decide that you want to work on purely WordPress websites, which are easy to work on, most popular, there'll always be business, you can go to that site we gave you, and everything you ever need to know about WordPress is there.
Is there?
Yes.
Awesome, Teri. Thank you for that.
Same for Joomla. Okay, you can look at the same for different other technologies.
Quick question, Teri, on the security bit, because we noticed a trend lately is ransomwares and people hacking people's website for databases or credit cards and stuff. You know, there is a concern now for people securing their sites. Any words of advice there?
Hacking it's been popularized, but I wouldn't want people to think that it is something that is very, very easy to do. Hacking is basically breaking in. So it's you find a lot of times that people are able, for example, the reason people are able to get in and steal something from a building is quite often the door is unlocked, or the lock isn't strong enough, or someone made a copy of your key. So a lot of times when it comes to security, it is really down to the people who are secure, who are using your website more than any one technology. You can build the best security, but if someone makes a copy of their key and hands it away, then it doesn't matter what you really do. So as a good practice is just making sure people can only log in using maybe one email at a time. The password is a certain length. You make sure your site has the SSL, so nobody is really catching your website. You can use tools like reCAPTCHA. reCAPTCHA is a free Google tool that allows you to block people who are using robots or pre-written code to just try and hack your website. So it just makes sure that only users are able to load your website. If you've ever gone anywhere and you had to be told, tick this box to prove you're not a robot or you're human, that is what a CAPTCHA is. Choosing a good provider, choosing someone to update your website frequently. Technology moves very quickly. Some of them update every month. So at least once a month, have someone log in, check and make sure that all the code is up to date, like any people who are not supposed to be there have been deleted, or any content that is flagged as risky. Google can tell you that for free, that this picture looks like it's a virus, delete it and upload a new one, or upload something different. It's just really being proactive, and you will stay ahead. You can never stop yourself from being hacked. It is like saying that you will never be pickpocketed. It is technically possible if you never leave your house, but then that is not really feasible. So don't think of it as I'll never be hacked. Just think of it as I'll make it as difficult as possible.
Possible to be hacked. Okay.
For someone
Got it. Got it. All right. I don't see any. Do we see any other questions? Any last minute burning questions? I see the resources are out there. We have reached top of the hour.
Anybody has missed the webinar last week, the links are in there.
Yeah.
They're on our YouTube page. You can always go there and check out the previous webinar or any of the other webinars that we have had. We've just put them as a recording and then put them up on our YouTube channels. And we have something to share. We have the next webinar, right? So even before we head out, we can tell everybody about the next webinar that's happening. Sorry, am I there?
Yeah, we can hear you, Rima.
Okay, great.
Let me stop sharing so that they can share the rest.
Yes. Hey, Faith, welcome. Now I can see who we've got in the room. Thank you for coming. Sammy, I just saw you join. You just joined on the tail end. This was recorded if you missed it, so you can go watch the recording.
Thank you.
All right, so let me share my screen. This is the next webinar that we're going to have. We're hosting it on the 12th of August, and it's about marketing campaigns. So if you'd like to know how to set up a marketing campaign and what goes into a marketing campaign, how to implement it, how to execute it, this would be for you. So you can learn as a marketer, you could learn it as an owner of a business, somebody who's learning as well. We're excited to do this. We've been doing marketing campaigns for a while, both online and offline. So whether it's a digital campaign or a normal campaign that you run, traditionally, we're able to sort of talk about that. I will ask again the team to put the registration link so that you don't miss out on this. And please feel free to share this with your family and friends to join in as well. Yeah, so this is the next webinar that we're going to do.
All right, I think we have a survey question that Nina, if you can push it out to our guests, and if you could give us some feedback, we'd appreciate it. And guys, if I think we have 2 minutes left. Bina, if you can push that survey out. And
Nathan, Nathan, can you please? Okay, he has already posted. There's a link on the chat. So just click on the link and then answer the question that will be shown.
Thank you, everybody. We appreciate your feedback. This helps us create, better content and provide you better service, and even get to know you guys better. If you can and you want to introduce yourself and tell us what you do in the last 2 minutes we have, we'd really appreciate to get to know you and your business and help you to get to support you better. That would be nice. Faith, Sammy, Bonfest, Victor, if you're still here, I know Victor very well, so I think he's already jumped off. Angela, don't be shy. Eddie.
Yes, please ask any questions in any order.
Introduce yourself and tell us what you do. Go ahead, Sammy.
Yeah, sorry, first I joined in a bit late. I had seen it on Rima's WhatsApp status, so I made a mental note of joining. Then just
Awesome.
Rima, so that's why I'm late. I'm very sorry for that. I really
That's all right.
Yeah, I run a company called African Frontier. We do experiential learning, commonly referred to as team building.
Yes.
And so hoping get into the digital space. So that's why my interest. Thank you.
Awesome, Sammy. Nice to meet you.
Okay, thank you.
Lovely to have you here and nice to see you.
Yeah, good to see you, Rima. Thank you. Thank you for posting it on your WhatsApp.
Okay, I shall keep doing that.
Guys,
else?
see?
Who else would
That's
like-
easy. Come on. Faith, Boniface,
Yeah,
Ken.
hello.
Hey.
There
Hi,
you
How are
Boniface.
you?
How are
I'm doing
you?
good. I'm doing good.
Go for it. Tell us what you do and what you tell us. Go on.
Yeah, my name is Boniface Monene. I'm from
Uh-huh.
Meru.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a civil engineering technician and I have my own business, Big Game Photography. You can see the logo.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm starting still to venture on a construction company. I'm actually really young and I would like to run it a little bit.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I had problems with my website, but at least I've learned a lot. I was on transit. And I'm really thankful for the time and I'm happy actually.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank
Awesome. But keep us posted on the progress and you just keep coming and we'll see what we can do to help you.
Sure, I will. Actually, I'll have maybe one later on, check on my website.
Yeah.
Imekuwa na issues, but so right now I run, so sijui nini shida.
Mm-hmm.
So one website I've been it is hosted by TrueHost.
Mm-hmm.
It's a Kenyan company, I think so. Now,
Mm.
but now the construction one, I started building it myself on Bitrix 24 from the time nililearn naweza tengeneza mimi mwenyewe.
Okay.
Yeah, I think maybe hiyo ya big game yenye iko kwa TrueHost, maybe someone will try to help me out there.
Yes, well, you've got Team Teri and Rima here, so go for it.
Yes, sure. Thank you a lot.
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks for joining us. This is amazing. Really, really glad that you could join us.
Yes,
And love your
thank you so
question.
much.
Thanks.
Awesome.
Great. Faith?
Hi, Faith.
Faith.
How are you?
Good, you?
Allow me not to put my video on.
Yes, please.
Okay, I'm so glad to have this session today. And it has been an amazing forum. And as well, I work as a PA. I'm so young, I'm still so young. So it has been an opportunity to just get to understand what you people do. And also I'm a writer. So I have also my own website where I do my own blogs. So I'm so grateful to have you on board.
Amazing, Faith. Well done, you.
Thank you.
Fantastic. And all the best
Awesome.
to you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Keep in touch, please.
Okay, I will. I don't know personally, how should I keep in touch with you guys? Because I found this on Facebook. So I just logged in through Facebook.
We will just put our contacts in here as well.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You can also follow us on our Facebook pages, or if that's what you prefer. But you can always keep in touch through there.
Yeah.
Do subscribe to our social media channels.
Yes.
And just to stress again, we have the 30 minutes free consultation. We will send you the link also on your email, so you can just click on it and book an appointment for the 30 minutes free consultation. Boniface, you've raised your hand. You'd like to say something?
Yeah, actually, I was thinking, can you create maybe our WhatsApp group, maybe a Telegram group that you can add us for frequent maybe communication?
Yes, that could be a thing. We could do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Awesome. Thank you, Boniface, for that idea.
And if maybe ukipata event, ukipata msee anataka kupigwa picha, maybe weddings, you can contact me. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, Boniface.
Yeah, thanks.
Just type in your email address and contacts in that chat. We'll be in touch.
Sure.
Thank you.
So as a parting thing as well, I would like to. Does Angela want to say something?
Angela, Ken, you're yet to go. And Eddie.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Angela.
Hello.
My name is Angela Wanja. I'm a marketing and communications profession. So I can say I was among the few people who are affected by the pandemic. I used to work for an international events company, but sadly life happened. So we had to adjust to the new normal. So I'm currently a freelancer. I basically deal with international clients where I run their social media accounts, help them out with their marketing campaigns, as I'm also trying to finish up on my master's. I've been having quite a number of questions. I think it was yesterday. I had a client who was asking so many questions about SEOs that I really didn't know. So I've learned something here, and I'm quite grateful for you guys setting this up. Thank you so much for this chance.
Wonderful.
Awesome, Angela. All right. Good to meet you, Angela. Keep in touch to everybody, of course, keep in touch because we're doing all this content, every month, and the chats are every month. So you will keep doing this content. So if there's anything you'd like us to do that you'd like to learn, give us those ideas and we'll do it. Awesome. Hey, Ken. Hey, Eddie. You guys, don't be shy. Okay.
Hello.
Oh, Eddie's coming in. Oh, come on, Eddie. Good. Awesome.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
My name is Eddie, and I'm a web dev.
Awesome.
Yeah, so far I've only had one client, and I'm trying to get more.
Good.
As I learn more about web technology, such as, okay, I've done Wix and WordPress, so I'm more or less focusing on now like the vanilla aspect of web dev. So HTML, CSS, JS, and PHP.
Awesome.
Yeah.
There's so many resources online. Keep learning, keep plugging away. And you've heard Teri say there's absolutely, you can learn stuff on YouTube. When I was learning, when I was going to school, we didn't have YouTube. And I'm sure I'm dating myself, so I'll just leave it there. You guys are spoiled for choice as far as resources. So go keep learning. And of course, the team here can. If you have any questions, just keep reaching out, and they'll be happy to point you in the right direction if you have any questions. But awesome, thank you so much for coming, and just keep coming because you're going to learn a lot more.
Thank you for having me.
Eddie, do you have any questions to ask right now?
Not really.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I see Nina is sharing the contacts in the chat, so just feel free to reach out to anyone who you may want to talk to. We are here to help, and yeah, we just want to see you succeed. So you just let us know on any questions.
We also love to hear from you. So there is a feedback link that Penina has shared. Kindly do give us some feedback on how you like the webinar, how do you like to our interactions with us as well. It would be really nice to hear from you. Yeah, and you can put it on our Facebook, you can put it on our Google. You can do it directly from that link itself. Okay, again, like I said, on the parting shot, I wanted Teri to tell us, we went through some tips and tricks last time about the website.
Oh, this is the feedback?
Yeah.
Okay.
How do you rate this event? Great. Fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah, so what I wanted to ask is, what is a parting tips that Teri you can give to us? I know some of the ones that we went through was limit the top level navigation menu to about 7 items. Nest some of the items on the sub menu so that you don't have so many items on your menu. What would be those menu items? Opening external links on a new window. Consistency on appearance. Is there anything else in tips and tricks that you can give to us?
This one is mostly going to be, because you can have all those things as Rima has said, but the number one thing I would want to recommend is, as much as possible, try to get a very quick loading website. The faster your website loads, the better, because that is what will determine. The average wait time for a website to load is 4 seconds. So if your website is not loaded in 4 or 5 seconds, someone will go to will navigate away to another window or to go do something else. So as far as possible, keep your website load time to under 3 seconds. This is very easy to achieve if you go for a global host provider and you take into account some of the things that we shared. Like when we showed that if you pick someone with very little memory, it can have a high storage space, but little memory. The bigger the memory, the RAM, the better it is, your site will load faster. So everything Rima has said, limit your domain name to 6 to 13 characters. Do not use words like limited, incorporated, or company, or whatever it is. Have 7 menu items maximum at the top. Have your website flow from left to right, because most Kenyans are right-handed and we are taught to read left to right. Have a lot of the content show up on one page. So the landing page should start with who you're about, a little information on what you're doing, and at the bottom, a call to action. Every time someone scrolls to the end of your page, you should give them a chance to engage with you, whether to leave your email or to book an appointment or to like you on social media, whatever it is, always have those. And then, very important, secure your website. Have an SSL your site, and if Google can't find you, then quite honestly, 85% of people in the web will not be able to find you. So yeah, those are, and you don't need to know and be able to do all this on your own. You can find someone who understands that, or you can ask the support people on whichever platform provider you select, and they will walk you through how to do it, or if you, depending on what you're paying, they'll just do it for you.
Awesome. Thank you, Teri.
That's amazing. Yeah. We find that website is actually important because it becomes that your identity online, something that you own. It's your identity online. You don't own your social media pages, but you own your website, and it becomes your salesperson as well. So making sure that it's tip-top, up-to-date, refreshed, very important. And of course, like it depends on what your business is. You want to put a live chat on it so that people can immediately start, speaking to you or messaging you.
Yep.
So it's great. I mean, we've always got so many tips and tricks up our sleeves, and we understand, website is also not just informational, but it also creates an experience for your clients. So think about your website as that first touch point to experience your business, right? So then make it well worth it so that people don't bounce off as well and keep interacting with you.
All right. Well, good. A shout out to Victor. Victor joined us from Facebook Live. That is awesome. That is awesome, Victor. And by the way, Victor is the CEO of the Chamber of Commerce in Kakamega. He is growing small businesses out in Kakamega. And I met him through a boot camp when we had gone out to do a boot camp out that way. So this is young people growing businesses. So this is awesome. He's helping other people grow their businesses. Good job, Victor.
Lovely. Do we have any last questions that you would like us to take on? If not, we would just love to thank you all for being here today, for asking your questions, for being part of our community. We really appreciate you, and we really love, sort of doing this twice a month, the webinar and the Q&A. And also, we'd like to thank Teri for joining us today and answering all these questions. Thank you so much, Teri.
Thank you, Teri.
Thank you for having me.
Fantastic. Great. So if there's nothing else that we'd like to talk about, then, asanteni sana and have a lovely afternoon.
Day. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Bye, Ken. We didn't get to meet you, but I guess we'll meet you another day. Bye, Boniface. Bye, Sammy. Good to meet you.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
Boniface.
Bye,
Thank you very much.
Eddie. Bye, Faith.
See
Bye,
you.
Faith.
Bye. Sammy, we've got to talk.
Say again, Rima?
We've got to talk.
Yes, we got to talk. Yeah, definitely, yes. We will.
Are you creating the WhatsApp group still?
We will.
Boniface,
We will
it's
do the
coming.
WhatsApp group. We shall
It's
do
coming.
WhatsApp. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye-bye,
Okay.
Boniface.
Bye, Kenneth. Thanks for joining us.
And
We can stop the
stop
recording.
record. Yep.
Live.
Stop recording.